What's cracking, y'all? It's Nick Danger. You're now tuned into the Art of MV. Welcome to my channel, and thanks for watching the video. Hit that like on the way in, subscribe to the channel, and do me a big favor, leave it all in the comment section for me. Hope everybody's having a great start out to their year and are prepared for season 2 of the Art of MV. Now, initially I started this channel just as a way to, it was almost like an iPhone dump. I had a bunch of footage of me in my studio working on beats and a bunch of street photography, which is what you're seeing now, that I just wanted to put on the internet. And that's where you get the term, the Art of MV. I'm just kind of backing the videos with some beats I did in my MV. In the process, I learned I like talking about the MV because it's a subject that's kind of taboo on the internet almost. Yeah, kind of hush tones, you know. But 80 videos later, and you guys support and viewership has actually made it where I can continue on. So season 2 begins. Now, let me make this perfectly clear. I didn't actually have any particular objective when it came to this channel. But as I did more videos, I started to learn things about the MV that I didn't even know, right? Those things were that, one, the original, or the 8800 is not the first MV. There was an MV before that called the MV-30 Studio M. And after my research, I realized that it actually was an MV. It just was different than the 8000. Another thing I learned was that the MV is, even by myself, was highly underutilized. So let me give you an example. Most people use it as a sampler, maybe as a sequencer, but it is a DAW. A lot of the pro, what I call tier 4 users, know this, right? So with the internet, everybody had their screens behind them. I just didn't feel like having an MV screen, but the more I looked at it, the MV screen is exactly like a DAW. You're seeing it now, right? And so, since people like to see a DAW and a face, that's what I put to these videos. So the channel has made some transitions for season 2. So I'm gonna have 3 different series. When I'm working on the 8000, 8800, it will look like this. And here is a view of the screen, and when I'm doing different things like this. Check it out. One of the ways I maximize my MV is to, when I like a patch and I want to affect that patch, I'll go ahead and I'll record that patch on the 8 tracks of audio. Now, to optimize your MV's MIDI inputs and stuff like that, you're going to have to learn to make this happen. Let's check out the mixer real quick. Okay, I gotta go to audio track. Okay, no jumpy faders. So we're going to put the audio track on the one that says sample. So this track has a bunch of elements, right? But it's kind of pulling from everywhere. Most of these drums are coming from my Phantom, which is on MIDI channel A. All this is coming from the Phantom, right? Then I have a drum loop coming from the Integra 7. This right here. Lots of people say the Integra is just good for orchestral sounds and real like pianos and stuff like this. But don't be mistaken, the Integra has a bunch of stuff, and it's like having a mini portion of the rolling cloud sitting on your MV. But anyway, that's for another conversation. Go to the library. I'm gonna go to my favorites. See this. I'm gonna say use this, and we're gonna change this to the input. Right? Let's change it to the input here. and solo. Solo B1. Now, bring the effects back up. I just want to see what I like on here, right? So what the concept I'm about to show you is that you have 8 tracks of audio in your MV, really 9, but we're not going to count this. You have 8 audio tracks that are part of the recording environment. We're going to go from, let's use this instead. I think that sounds a little more slick. I always like the 4-button chorus, but I think I'd like to do a couple of changes. Okay, they're on. So I think what I want to do, I want to lean it a little bit more. Thing I love about the MV, you can use the mouse or the button. I think we'll use this. See what we got here. I'm going to solo both of these out and play them. Floaty mouse syndrome today. That's one thing I think I want to do. I just want to give me my hands on another MV. Gotta dial this back to my custom setting. I thought I had set it, but apparently I didn't. But this is important. That this RSS delay is the shit. You gotta dig deep into this. You can dial this in exactly how you want. I'm gonna put this shit on the tempo. Boom, 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 boom. 15 is supposed to be 104 to the left. There we go. I want 104 to the left. Oh, there we go. 104 to, there we go. And we got everything else looks to be intact. 84, 75, 58, 85. All right. Let's exit this screen and make sure we reapply this to auxiliary 3. All right. Let's see what we got. Record as many bars as you think you need, and then you're free to free that MIDI track up for something else, either to layer the exact same MIDI progression or the MIDI pattern with another instrument to do a little layering. But now that you have that take on an audio track, if that's all you need, you can now make that into a partial. You can group that with other stuff. Like there's a part of the song I'm gonna play, the last set of drums. Well, those last sets of drums are only at the end of the song. So why not sample it or record it on an audio track exactly where you want it, the exact length you want it, and then you can discard that MIDI track and start over. This is a cool way to optimize the entire environment of the MV, and it's how the projects are set up to begin with. If you look, the projects are set up like albums, and the project is set up for those 16 songs to share a sound set. So every sound and every setting you make in a project, when you save that project, you save it with that setting and those sounds. So everything inside that project kind of has the same vibe. Dig? And we are back. And this is my other screen. So we'll be doing a lot of this switching out of the screens as I work on the MV-8000, 8800. And you'll be able to see my screen for more informative videos. I'll also put some little words up here every now and then. But these are just, the different ways we're going to do season 2. Now, another upgrade that I don't know if you can quite hear, but there's an ongoing conversation in the producer, YouTube, beat maker, loop maker community, whatever at large, right? And it's about sound. Now, some people have staked their whole thing on this, and others are kind of withdrawing back. So I want to break that down and how it affected my coming back to a certain creative flow and a certain signal flow, right? So if you watched any of my videos, you maybe heard me talk about a hybridized workflow, right? Inside the box, outside the box, digital, analog. Well, once upon a time, I actually had the hybrid workflow or creative flow. My first Mackie board, picture right there, Mackie BLZB, which is like all them sliders up there, that's the Mackie BLZ board. Anyway, that's when Mackie had a different name, right? Here's my new Mackie. It's an analog mixer with digital enhancements, including USB interface capabilities, and it helped me to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. More a little bit later, but I've also added a couple of tube compressors after visiting a friend's studio and hearing the MV-1 Verselab through hardware analog circuitry, and it really helped me to readjust my ears to what the stuff does inside the box and what it represents compared to what it sounded like outside the box. So it put me in a place where, okay, I needed to upgrade a lot of the system because my computers were old. Everything needed to be upgraded. And once I moved on to Windows 11, I had to upgrade interfaces. So I had a couple of different options. Tascam 12 was on my mind. Briefly the SSL 6, but with that I would have definitely had to upgrade the speakers, and the interface would have been different. But I decided to simply add a Pro Channel console type analog signal path simultaneously. So on the Mackie mixer, which is right in front of me, their channels 1 and 2 have inserts. And on those inserts, I'm able to insert the 2 ART compressors. And the ART compressors are not just simply compressors. They're professional channel strips. So they're 2 preamps, an optical compressor, and tube compressor. You can go from back and forth. You can switch it to make it a tube compression, tube saturation, or you can turn that up and just make an optical compressor. And it has a tube 4-band parametric EQ. Right? This thing sounds awesome. Now, I don't know if it translates. Let me see. I got it over here. I don't know if it translates in the when I'm coming through the streaming device that I have. So I'll have to go back and listen to this in the car and see if the video translates, if I can hear what I can hear. But on the outside, it translates a lot, and we're going to actually be working with that when I'm using and I'm doing my MV live sessions. I got that idea from watching other guys go live. I've seen quite a few guys who have analog signals in their chain, and I was like, those are the guys I like, the way it sounds when I'm listening to the live streams. And I kind of want to get at the same thing. Now, don't get me wrong, there are still some upgrades that need to be done. Like the upgrade that made the screen possible for you to see more of my screen on the MV-8000 was that I actually got a bigger monitor, about a 35-inch TV that had the VGA input. It was an older flat screen TV. I'm still using the same streaming device, but the sonics, everything has changed, as you'll see here on the top-down view. Check it out. Testing. Once again, man, this is Nick Digital, man. Thank you guys for joining me for Season 1. Hit that notification because Season 2 is going to be off the meters, man. I already got a lot in the editing process. Man, we're about to go a deep dive into song making, self-sound design, and album sequencing with the MV-8000, as well as a lot of the MV-1 into the Zenbeats integration. We're going to do a deep dive of all this. We're going to go live more often. Man, we're going to push this thing to the hill. So stay tuned for MV Live and continue to look out for the Art of MV going forward in 2024, man. Peace. See you soon. That's freaking awesome. I just hope that it can translate in the lives, and I hope that I can hear it when I get to the car. Believe it or not, this project is as old as the machine almost. It came at a point, my drum machine before I got here was an MPC 3000. And, you know, came with all kind of beats on that thing. And I basically imported them over in one shots like this. See? Drum rolls. And then I have loops. You know what I'm saying? Hold the organ and now that little flute sound is a flute that I 16 level. Famous guy too. And all these are basically kits. 1, 2, and. This is the part of the MV that I'm going to explore more in season 2. This little passage right here. Remember, it goes with this. This is a whole little passage I'm holding. It's a very long loop, but it's you know what I mean? Designed to go with this. Okay, so what I did was I built a whole track around that as I made that into a little small patch. Whole track right here as like so. That song's cut right there. Then here's the second part. Only taking the flute, throwing that psychoacoustic reverb and then setting the reverb to the tempo, at least most of it. 4 different pads, pitched down just a little bit, and then you build the track around it. The essence of sound design is inherent in the MV-8000. I think it is one of the few complaints about the MV-1 Verselab, but let me take this time to kind of wrap this concept around you guys for a minute. So if you really think about it, the Roland MV can be found right now for $350 to $500. Right? And that's still a good price. Missing are the sound design functions and the deep sample capabilities, right? Still there is the sound, the abundance of the best patches, and 5 times the effects that you had in the previous MV-8000, or probably any other Roland gear for that matter. Because this thing has 90 plus effects, and they've added 3 since the release. And that's not even counting the effects on the master bus, as like the mastering effects, right? And then you have another 20 vocal-based effects. So really, it's just it's a process monster over here, right? It has a very quick, simple and intuitive, but kind of restricted sequencer, but it works great, right? And the capability of talking to the modern technology enough to dump the stems from here to there on the 7 tracks that is on here over USB, 8 tracks over USB, just enough to be great once you get things already locked down. So in this little track here, I've already got most of what I want. So here's the editor. And it's great to me for once you made it to a certain point. So here's this track I'm working on as well. And it's pretty much, I've already arranged the sections. The amount of clips in the sections are already kind of there. It's not a complete track, but it's a ready to go to the next stage track, right? So here's a section with 6, 7 different tracks in the section. This section only has 3 parts in there, right? This section only has 2 clips. And each of these clips have their own effects going, right? So I've already kind of affected them in the individual way. But when you're going through it that way, or you're already at the back end, being able to right click and mouse through these things, this is the cool part. Now, a lot of us kind of pride ourselves on working strictly on the screen. I'm not one of those guys. I love the fact that I can go from real-time editing and back right into the unit and use both like screens. So going forward, there's going to be a lot of Zenbeats and MV integration in the videos themselves, because I'll be diving into this integration thoroughly. When you have access to the main out here, you have everything. There's your limiter, your multi-band compression, your 5-band EQ, as well as when you're on each track at this point, accessing the EQ and compressor that comes on each track, right? Cool. So this is the Verselab editor. We're familiar with it. I like it. I don't have any complaints about it. But this is not even the coolest part. The coolest part is that if you was to go up here and forget the editor, you're done with that part, right? You just open up a song. You create your song. I'm going to open one that I've already worked on, this very song right here. And boom. So now I don't really need the editor, but I've already recorded the entire song. So I've already recorded the entire song here already. And you'll hear a little bit more processing because as you can see down here, the minute you plug your MV in, your MV-1 in, you're already set up. Channels, only thing you need to do is arm everything. It's already ready to record your stems right into the Zenbeats app, right? And I can even add an additional external audio right over here if I wanted to. However, I didn't do that. But one thing I want to say is that the Zenbeats and the MV-1 are not the same unit. Let me show you something. Oh, mind you, this is already in song mode. I don't have to do any arrangement. So, all right. So we're in here. As you can see, full metering, full levels, everything's a go. You go ahead and record it on in here, and you're good, right? Let's take a little bit. See how round that bottom is? Now, I've already did a little bit of processing, as you can see, if I were to bring up the plug-in. So this has some drive on it, probably an 808. I got the Zenbeats EQ and compressor running on the kit channel, which that's where most of the drums are. A nice little chorus effect on here, delay, flanger. So I got some processing going, right? These are not the exact same effects that are in the MV-1, but stuff that's unique to Zenbeats, right? Different presets and stuff that are unique to do. So if I wanted an audio effect in this one, here's the screen, and here are all the Zenbeats. Now this is not the MV-1 because the MV-1 doesn't have just a straight up, what is that? The pump, the side chain pump, and the side chain comp. These are unique things for the Zenbeats, and the MV-1 is integrated enough to take advantage of it because I used it on this composition. I used the effects on this composition with ease. So, in my opinion, so far, this is what I got to say, and this is going to hurt. Some of us MV users missed the boat. All right. When I did this particular exercise, which I'm going to do ad nauseum, I'm going to do this over and over and over because this is the point right here. And we'll go deeper into this point going forward on season 2 when I break down the MV-1 and Zenbeats. You have a dedicated little app. I don't know how many different machines that they've made that can access the Zenbeats the way that Verselab does. I don't know if the MC101 or 707 or SP404 or Mark II or the Phantom, I don't know if they all integrate into the Zenbeats like this. Somebody will have to tell me that. But if they did, it's kind of ingenious. So I'm going to say something else about Roland versus Zakai and what Roland is doing in the next segment. I'll end this segment with saying that the integration with the Verselab and Zenbeats is just enough to push you and edge you towards finishing your work or progressing your work into Zenbeats, because you know you can export those stems straight into your main DAW. Why do I think that we missed the boat? Well, because when we're talking about the MV-8000, everybody wanted to be able to do this. get the idea out of the MV and into the digital world easily and quickly. That's what this does. And you can do it with another DAW. You can go and use this as the generic sound card to another DAW and dump your stems into your favorite DAW. But within Zenbeats, I'm saying it's a great match because the sound engines are the same. So a lot of the effects you got, there are going to be some overlap, but a lot of stuff in the Zenology and the Zenbeats, the different versions you get, the ultimate versions, have things that the MV-1 doesn't have. So like they have a glitch, like the new modern halftime gross beat type effects called glitch in Zenbeats. Like I told you, they have the pumping, the side chain pump effect already mapped out for you on there. So it's just so much to get into, and we will get into it on in the Zen version that I'll be doing on the Art of MV going forward.